Well, hello learners. Hopefully this is working now. We're having problems trying to connect this evening, making sure that this audio is working, the sound is working, the connection is working, and it seems that there are a number of problems that are apparent, or I don't think that's the case actually. I think it's more a case of there are changes to the Facebook way of doing live lessons. So it's been a little while since I last saw you. It's been a little while since I last posted anything. I have updated the status in the last couple of days, and I have put some other things on my YouTube channel as well, and Twitter. If you've been following along on those formats, great. If you haven't, then I'll put a link in the chat window very, very soon. Just to let you know that, yes, I have moved apartment recently. I have changed. And, I've moved to somewhere a little bit more comfortable. Uh, I've got my own office. I can't believe it. It's such an exciting time to have your own office and to have a nice little desk. Got a little lamp here, and very soon I'll have a little video, little tour, just showing you roughly what my new setup is for well, for the coming or for the foreseeable future. I'm super excited and I hope to create some really great content from here to help you. Obviously, that's the main priority for me, to help you, those people who are interested, those people who want to learn English, anybody who wants to join in the conversation, anybody who wants to learn something new. By all means, join this my little page, join my live sessions, and follow me and have a look at those videos and things that I keep producing. So I'm absolutely delighted, and I have a little question for you, and I just want to know what is the most difficult thing. I had all of this prepared. However, when I tried to go on or start the live earlier, unfortunately, it was a little bit of a problem. It immediately stopped for some reason, and all the questions and all the preparation went out of the window as well, unfortunately. So there we go. Anyway, so I have a little question here for you. If anyone does join, then by all means, drop a chat, drop me a message, and I'll quite happily try and help you with that. And I am monitoring the chat as well, so please do be respectful of other users and follow the normal guidelines that are set out by Facebook. I don't want to have to uh, do anything like banning people and all of the rest of it. It's quite difficult as it is. Difficult enough doing live streaming. If you've ever done it before, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not easy to administer everything, and it's not easy to view things. You've got to always be on the ball, make sure that everything's working well, everything's working fine, and that there are going to be no problems. So, as I mentioned, sometimes with English, I find that learners have perhaps confusion with words. Is it the pronunciation? Is it the accent? A lot of learners ask about accent, and I'm going to have a look at some questions that have been raised recently in one of the forums that I'm a member of. We'll try and have a look at those, and I'll share some ideas with you. Excuse me, and share some tips, perhaps some recommendations, some tips, and we can discuss those together. And I'll give you some help with that. And welcome to members of English Help if you're joining me. I'm absolutely delighted that you're joining. Great to see you. I am trying to keep an eye on the chat window. I can't see it at the moment, so just give me a moment to keep an eye on the chat window. Hopefully I will get buzzed by Facebook, or if there are any chats, or if anybody does wish to join me in this little live session. And we'll start by having a look at, let me have a look here. Start by having a look at this one. So I'm going to just see here from one of the other groups that I'm a member in and just have a little look through some Q&A questions and see if there's something there that I can help you with. So, what is the hardest thing about learning English? Well, some people say it's sentence structure, and I mentioned that earlier on. Is it the word order? Is it when do we use a verb versus an adverb? When do we place the adjectives? Where do we place the nouns? Lots of things to consider, especially when you're perhaps writing, maybe even speaking. So that's always something to watch for. And, the more you practice, the more you do reading, the more you study and try the exercises that the teachers are giving you and the things that you're learning yourself, the easier it will definitely become. Of that, I am absolutely sure. Phrasal verbs. What is a phrasal verb? Well, it's usually a verb followed by what? Well, it's an adjective, so it's either up or down. Like that, look up, look down, look left, look right. Typical phrasal verb, but not all phrasal verbs are literal, so they can be metaphorical in meaning. And I'm going to publish some videos about those very soon. Vowels. One thing that's mentioned here is vowels. And interesting because I have actually made a couple of videos in my YouTube channel about vowels, talking about vowel sounds, short vowels, long vowels, and what the differences are with those and how best you can pronounce those well. So those are all things that I keep getting asked about. And like I say, you can check out my YouTube channel, check out my website as well. You'll see that listed in the featured section somewhere there. I might have to repost that. Yes, I'm going to have to repost the featured selection because it's not actually there, but it's mrgary.com. If you haven't seen it yet, by all means, pop over there. There's a full set of blogs. I think I'm up to about 38 blogs or vlogs now, should I say. So, lots of things happening, lots of things going on, and lots of things to try and do and to try and help you. What about exceptions or perhaps pronunciations? Are those difficult things for you? I don't know. You tell me. Pronunciation can be difficult, especially when we're talking about things like words with silent letters, silently pronounced letters, things that are unusual or they look a little bit strange, especially when you're writing something. The other day, for example, I was writing a word and I thought, this doesn't look right. Is it correct? I'm sure this is how you say the word, but have I spelt it correctly? It doesn't sound right in my mind. And that's quite a common problem for a lot of English learners. They generally get a little bit stuck, perhaps a little bit frightened, a little bit nervous sometimes. Don't be afraid, use the resources that you have available. Try and find out what the meaning of a new word means. Have you used a thesaurus lately, for example? I often ask my learners that very question. Have you used a thesaurus? Have you used a thesaurus lately? And more often than not, the answer that they give me is a resounding no. Okay, so if you're watching Perhaps you're catching up. You know, you might not be able to do this, or you might not be able to catch up with the clip. But by all means, go right ahead, and we can answer those queries for you. But when I ask my learners, as I said, when I ask them, I say, they come up to me and say, "Oh, what does this word mean?" And I say, well, have you looked at a thesaurus? No, I haven't. You need to look at a thesaurus then. Come on, let's get cracking and we'll have a look at a thesaurus. So, if the thesaurus isn't available, then luckily, like most teachers these days, I have the hand phone, my mobile phone with me, and I'll often look up the word or show them how to look up the word in the classroom. And I think there's a lot of changes happening with the situation that we've got at the moment. It's not looking too great for us for the next 6 months. Looks like there's going to be more online learning uh, in the future months. So it's going to be, well, we've just started a new lockdown here in Jakarta. If you haven't followed the news, if you don't follow the news, the situation isn't getting any better uh, at all very quickly. So um, we need to try and get on top of that and hopefully make sure everything comes back and everything's great. So yeah, good. The other thing that I keep getting asked about, and I'm just referring to my notes here, so just give me a second. It was, yes. So, yeah, after phrasal verbs, they said latent letters moved to the States when I was 7 years old. When reading, I would always pronounce the word, pronounce the s in island, spelt Island. And it says, why is there an S? And it took weeks to kick out the habit. That's right. If you get into bad habits, especially with language, it's very difficult to get rid of them. It takes a lot of practice. Um, Exceptions. So things like I before E, except after the C. And I always say, well, that's weird. Spell weird. Tell me if that rule works. Correct, it doesn't work. Pronunciation as well, and English town names. So I'm going to do a little section on this, and we have one there, Loughborough. Loughborough in the UK, pronounced Loughborough, with the N word sounding like a caveman grunt rather than ending in a distinct R. Next one, idiom. I like idioms. I really enjoy idioms, and this is a video that I'm going to be making very soon. It's going to be hopefully entertaining, something that's going to really capture the imagination. I'll just read this for you that I've seen here. It says, my husband still has trouble with phrases. He just learned that it's actually two peas in a pod, not two peas in a pot. His reasoning is the absolute cutest thing I've heard, though. He thought it meant two peas in a pot about to be cooked. We're going through it together. To him, we are two peas in a pot because we are going through life together. Teary me. And then it says here, I'm one creak short of a salamander when it comes to being as clever as a mountain lion stalking a squirrel. Yes, that's another one. Homonyms. And if you have seen my latest video, I've put it on YouTube. I will put it on Facebook, a copy of Facebook later on, hopefully very soon. And I'll just show you very quickly where you can find my YouTube channel and just show you a little bit about that there. So yes, I'll show you a little bit about that. Just give me a second while I go straight into that YouTube channel. So Okay. It's pretty much identical to what the Facebook channel is. If you haven't seen that already, or if you're new to my Facebook channel, by all means, drop me a like, drop me a little subscribe or a follow or whatever you want to call it, and that would be much, much appreciated. So let's have a little look there. Sure. That. I'm going to do that. Okay. So I'm just going to click this, click that. Then I'm going to click this. Feature link. Okay, questions. Video clipping. There's not that one. No, not that one. Well, there was a share screen button, but it's not gone. So let's have a cross post. No, don't want that. Don't want that. Don't. Edit stream. No, game. No, it's not gaming. I'm not doing gaming. Ugh, no. Under this, I don't know. Anyway, I do play games, but I don't really stream that often. Playing games, so not to worry. Nobody's watching, so I can pretty much come and go and do what the buggery I want, which is quite nice. It's quite a nice, relaxing thing to do. Anyway, I won't show you that because I can't share my screen for some unbeknown reason. I will try and figure that out later on, maybe tomorrow or something like that. Plurals. My husband is a very intelligent man, but making words plural still trips him up. I get it. House becomes houses, but mouse becomes mice. Box becomes boxes, but ox becomes oxen. There are so many words like that, and my husband still has to think about it in his head before writing or saying it. Nicknames. Yes, I don't know if any of you watch TikTok. There's a lady there called Yorkshire Peach, and she was doing a little bit about nicknames, and we seem to have this habit in the UK of making nicknames up for just about anything and just about everything. And when we talk a little bit about nicknames, she said, you guys just seem to, you just seem to add like a Y or an IES onto anything. And, I don't know why you do that. I mean, it's kind of like cute, but honestly, I can sit there and listen to someone and they're like, oh, they'll say something and I'll be like, what? Yes, that's right. If you ever go to the UK, you'll hear a lot of slang on the street and a lot of words that you've probably never heard of before. Occasionally, when I go home to the UK, then these things happen to me as well. English is evolving very, very fast these days. And with all these acronyms and internet language, I think I call it, the language of the internet and Gen Zs and all the rest of it, these things seem to spread very, very quickly. More quickly than ever. I seem to remember words and acronyms and phrases coming about, but there we go. So I'll just read this to you. I knew that Bill is William and Dick is Richard. But then there's a whole set of short names that have never made it to the White House and thus to awareness of foreigners. I've lived in the US for 15 years and I still can't fully figure out why Peggy is a Margaret. Bobby is Roberta. Winnie May is Gwendolyn, etc. I will occasionally realize that two names mentioned occasionally in emails actually refer to the same person. Yes, no, we're not going to read that out either. So, when my mum immigrated to America when she was a kid, she made friends with this girl with two older brothers named Mike and Mark. He's sometimes called Markle, since she figured that Mike's full name was Michael. Mark's full name must be Markle. Oh my God. This language is terrible. There's no wonder everybody's so confused. Spellings. Here's a different one for you. I like this. And it's The King's English by Anonymous. If you've ever heard of it, I don't know if you have, but here it goes. See, I take it that you already know of tough and buh and cough and duh or dough. Tough, bow, and cough and dough. Others may stumble, but not you. On hiccough, though slow, and though or through. Beware of a herd of dreadful word that looks like a herd but sounds like a bird. And dead. It's said like bed, not bead. For goodness sake, don't call it deed. Watch out for meet and greet and threat. They rhyme with suit, straight and debt. Watch out, sorry. A moth is not the moth in mother, nor both in bother, nor broth in brother. And here is not a match for there, nor dear and fear for bear and pear. And then there's does and rose and lose. Just look up and goose and choose. And cork and work and card and ward. And font and front and word and sword. And do and go, then thwart and cart. Come, come, I've hardly made a start. A dreadful language, why sakes alive, I'd learned to speak it when I was 5, and yet to write it, the more I tried, I hadn't learned it at 55. Very nice, I like that. Saliva. When I speak English, I just create so much saliva or saliva. I thought saliva was perhaps like a Spanish name or something like that. Saliva. Let's try again. Saliva. When I speak English, I just create so much saliva. Saliva in my mouth. And I don't know why. Kind of annoying. And that's W Jazzy. W Jazzy, if you're doing that, I think that's perfectly normal. Just keep drinking water and keep trying. And eventually, you know, everything will settle down and it will be okay for you. Right, I'm going to give you one little reading now before we leave. And if you're a literary buck, basically if you like books and stuff like that, you probably know what I'm reading. And if you do, why don't you comment in the box? I bet none of you know what I'm reading. But if you do, comment in the box. Short passage from a little book that I'm sure most of us will recognize. Certainly, everybody should recognize it. One of my favorite authors. I'll tell you about it in a moment. I've eaten many strange and scrumptious dishes in my time, like jellied gnats, dandy prats, and earwigs cooked in slime, and mice with rice. They're really nice when roasted in their prime, but don't forget to sprinkle them with just a pinch of grime. Have you guessed what it is yet? Ooh, I shouldn't really say that, should I? Because we all know who that is that I'm talking about. Cancelled! I've eaten fresh mud burgers by greatest cooks there are, and scrambled dregs and stinky bugs, eggs and hornets stewed in a jar, and pails of snails and lizards' tails, and beetles by the jar. A beetle is improved by just a splash of vinegar. I often eat boiled slobbages. They're grand when served beside minced dwindlebugs and carrot slugs. And have you ever tried mosquitoes, toes, and wumple fish roes? Most definitely fried. The only trouble is they disagree with my inside. I'm not surprised. I'm mad for crispy wasp stings on a piece of buttered toast, and pickled spines and porcupines, and then a gorgeous roast of dragon's flesh. Well, hang, not fresh. It costs £1 at most, and comes to you in barrels if you order it by post. I crave the tasty tentacles of octopi for tea. I like hot dogs. I love hot frogs. And surely you'll agree. A plate of swill with engine oil, a super recipe I literally need to mention that it's practically free. For dinner, my birthday, shall I tell you what I chose? Hot noodles made from poodles on a slice of garden hose, and a rather smelly jelly made of armadillo's toes. The jelly is delicious, but you have to hold your nose. Ooh. Now comes the centipede, declared the burden of my speech. These foods are rare beyond compare. Some are right out of reach, but there's no doubt I'd go without 1,000,000 plates of each. For me, snail might. One tiny bite of this fantastic peach. Well, I tell you what, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to that as much as I enjoyed reading it. And certainly, if you did, by all means, drop me a comment or drop me a message into my channel page. I'd be absolutely delighted for you. And I think what we'll do now after that is just end this live stream. Again, if you've got any questions, queries, or you want to try and assist and join perhaps with an online lesson, or to talk a little bit about English, drop your questions to me. If you're in the Fluent English group and you're following me, welcome along. Hello. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Mr. Gary. Have a great day. Bye bye.